ខ្ញុំសូមសម្ដែងការគោរពនិងការស្វាគមន៍យ៉ាងកក់ក្ដៅទៅកាន់អាដាមលោកជំទាវអ្នកអង្គញាលោកស្រីអ្នកនាងកញ្ញាភ្ញៀវកិត្តិយសជាតិនិងអន្តរជាតិទាំងអស់ដែលមានវត្តមាននៅទីនេះផ្ទាល់និងតាមរយៈការចូលរួមទស្សនាការផ្សាយផ្ទាល់តាមរយៈបណ្ដាញសង្គម Facebook និង Channel Telegram នាងខ្ញុំសូមជម្រាបអាដាមលោកជំទាវអ្នកអង្គញាលោកស្រីអ្នកនាងកញ្ញាភ្ញៀវកិត្តិយសជាតិនិងអន្តរជាតិទាំងអស់មេត្តាជ្រាបថាកម្មវិធីវេទិកាបច្ចេកវិទ្យាហិរញ្ញវត្ថុនៃពិព័រណ៍បច្ចេកវិទ្យាកម្ពុជា2022នេះបានឈានចូលមកដល់ថ្ងៃទី3ដែលជាថ្ងៃចុងក្រោយផងដែរហើយកម្មវិធីនាព្រឹកនេះនឹងប្រព្រឹត្តទៅជាភាសាអង់គ្លេសចាសសូមអរគុណ Good morning all excellencies, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Ang Siu Tien and I will be your host for this morning's event. First and foremost, on behalf of the organizers of this event, I would like to extend my respectful and warm welcome towards all excellencies, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, who are representatives of relevant ministries, development partners, bank, microfinance institution, insurance company, association, FinTech companies, startups, and the public to the FinTech stage of Cambodia Tech Expo 2022, or in short, CTX 2022. The FinTech stage of CTX 2022 is being broadcast live on the official Facebook pages and Telegram channels of the Techo Startup Center and Digital Economy and Business Committee, as well as being cross-shared through posts by Cambodian Association of Finance and Technology and Prudential Cambodia. Before the event officially begins, I would like to respectfully inform all excellencies, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, to please adhere to the following instruction. Please kindly mute your devices or any notification that may cause a disturbance if you are present in the event hall. Thank you for your cooperation. Taking this occasion and on behalf of the organizers of today's event, I would like to extend my sincere and deep gratitude towards the sponsor of the FinTech stage of CTX 2022, including Advanced Bank of Asia for being our diamond sponsor, Khmer Enterprise for being our platinum sponsor, Prudential Cambodia, SME Bank of Cambodia, Credit Guarantee Corporation of Cambodia, and FWD Life Insurance Cambodia for being our gold sponsors. Now, I would like to inform all excellencies, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen of this morning's agenda. Today is the third and final day of the FinTech stage, as well as the final day of CTX 2022, which will commence for half a day period. The theme for this morning event is cybersecurity and decentralized finance. The agenda for this morning is as follows. First on the agenda is a presentation on launching Cambodia Distributed Ledger by Mr. Tumsaray Watana, Blockchain Project Lead of the Techo Startup Center. Second is a presentation on demystifying Web 3.0 by Mr. Andy Chun, Regional Director, Technology Innovation of Prudential Corporate Asia. Next on the agenda is the first fireside chat on Web 3.0, Beyond the Hype. This session will be moderated by Mr. Akshay Tiragat, Innovation Manager of Prudential Singapore, and will be joined by Mr. Leon Fong, Head of Apex Regional Director of Finance. Afterward, we will have our second fireside chat on One FinTech ASEAN Movement Roundtable. This session will be moderated by Mr. Akshay Tiragan, Innovation Manager of Prudential Singapore, and will be joined by Ms. Amor Maclang, Digital Filipinas Convener of FinTech Philippines Association, and Ms. Rina Leona, Executive Director of Cambodian Association of Finance and Technology. Next on the agenda is an observing remark by Ms. Kuan Frandara, Board Treasurer of Cambodian Association of Finance and Technology. Next is a closing remarks by His Excellency Dr. Kong Marie, Under-Secretary of State of the Ministry of Economy and Finance and Secretary General of the General Secretariat of Digital Economy and Business Committee. Lastly is the closing of today's event and networking lunch. The FinTech state aims to support and foster the digital economy and FinTech development in Cambodia by mobilizing national and foreign regulators, private enterprises, and relevant stakeholders to connect and better understand FinTech trends and innovations, as well as talk through opportunities and challenges with the purpose to strengthen and expand Cambodia FinTech ecosystem, take full advantage of the innovation, adapt and prepare for the dynamic development of FinTech in Cambodia. The FinTech stage also aimed to gather more input for drafting a concise and flexible Cambodia FinTech development policy. Combining with the annual CamTech Summit powered by Prudential, the FinTech stage is Cambodia's first ever annual FinTech Expo, which is being attended by senior officials and executive from Ministry of Economy and Finance, Digital Economy and Business Committee, National Bank of Cambodia, Digital Startup Center, Cambodian Association of Finance and Technology, bank, microfinance institution, universities, research institutions, development partners, as well as other relevant association and private enterprises. Now, for the first agenda of this morning's event, I would like to respectfully invite Mr. Tumsarai Watana, Blockchain Project Lead of the Digital Startup Center, to please come on the stage and give a presentation on launching Cambodia Distributed Ledger, or in short, CamDL. All Excellencies, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Mr. Tumsarai Watana.
So, good morning, Excellency, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Tum Srewatana. I am the lead blockchain development team at the Digital Startup Center. And I am very honored to be here and present you and showcase our blockchain network, CamDL, or Cambodia Distributed Ledger, on this FinTech stage, Cambodia Tech Expo 2022. So, here are the content of my presentation, which will include the introduction to the CamDL. What is the CamDL and what are the reasons that we are going to build and create this blockchain? And next, we are going to discuss on existing challenges within the financial industry. And next, on the third part, we are going to discuss on the core feature on which we are going to show you what are the features that we are selected, and then we address on these existing challenges. And last but not least, we are going to discover the possible use case for our blockchain network for many sectors within the fintechs and non-fintech, including industrial. And lastly is the milestone for our network. So CamDL, or Cambodia Distributed Ledger, is a hybrid permission blockchain network. With our aim is to build and provide a public user, enterprise, government sector to a platform to test, learn, and experiment with blockchain technology. CamDL is powered by Hyperledger Besu, an open source Ethereum client developed by Hyperledger Foundation. So before going further into the presentation, I would like to briefly talk over the history of why CamDL was built. As presented by Dr. Tang Mun Lee, Executive Director of the Digital Startup Center on the first day in the FinTech stage, to allow fintech ecosystem to flourish, there are many things to be considered, such as a policy enabler, digital enabler, enabling technology, and lastly is the fintech's activity. As you can see from this picture, is policy enabler, digital enabler, enabling technology is transfer the water and the nutrient up to the leaf, which is give to the financial activity. So one of that the enabling technology that is mentioned in this draft of fintech policy is the DLT, or in short, distributed ledger technology. So as a stand of the Digital Startup Center, we focus on providing public with benefit of we taking part in providing a policy recommendation, building a digital enabler a platform, for example, as a CamDX, in short for Cambodia Data Exchange, for API Exchange, and so on and so forth. And next, one of the next digital enabler is digital eKYC platform. We call it CamDigiKey. As right now has been used by many government institution and also bank, microfinance, and also the insurance company and so on. On top of that, we also have the technology such as AI and machine learning, which is to serve the purpose of NLP and OCR. Right now, we're offering the public the access to those API in order to extract the ID card and passport and so on. And today, as Digital Startup Center make another contribution into the FinTech ecosystem as well as the Cambodian society as a whole is we are launching another platform called CamDL, which is a blockchain network or a distributed ledger platform. So for CamDL, our mission is to introduce to Cambodian blockchain-based internet which provide interoperability, seamless integration, trust, transparency, traceability, and automation by the use of smart contract and peer-to-peer file sharing. Our intention is to help a developer or a general user building a decentralized application and use we also provide the tool and documentation and also the support framework in order for developer and the general user to take the advantage of a blockchain network. So the goal here is to create one of the best blockchain infrastructure and provide the FinTech ecosystem and industrial government sector in Cambodia a platform to test, learn, and experiment and develop any decentralized application. To get everyone familiar with the concept of blockchain and maybe experiment with their own idea on how to maybe improve or make your industrial better. To achieve such a goal, CamDL must align itself with the to be a regulated blockchain and work alongside with all parties from all stakeholders, including the FinTech industry. And most importantly is the regulator. So to drive the mass adoption of the DLT blockchain technology, CamDL should provide a guide on development and guide on usage the smart contract to the public and building a lot of supportive infrastructure within the blockchain network, such as peer-to-peer file storage, decentralized identity, Oracle, or many more requirement services that might be needed in the future in order to expand the use case of our network. So CamDL is by design is to fulfill 4 of the main regulatory objectives. So first one is the financial inclusion by open and accessible financial platform to the public using the blockchain technology. The second is the financial stability by providing a maximum customer protection possible to the end consumer. Third is the financial integrity which is enabled by open and traceable financial transaction on the public ledger. And last but not least is to drive the financial innovation through providing the platform for all stakeholders and general users to be able to experiment, test, learn from this new technology. So what is blockchain? So blockchain is a distributed ledger that or a database record of all transactions or digital events that have been executed and distributed over the network to all participants, thus making it incorruptible. So all the transactions, the block is considered as a group of transactions, and then those group of transactions are chaining up together subsequently. So by its digital fingerprint as a chain back to the first block. So general user or everyone can trace all the transaction and make sure that all the transactions are valid and digitally signed correctly and also valid. So why are we using blockchain? So blockchain ensure that the data are not modified, delete without consensus from other party. Every node on the network has a copy of that digital ledger, and to add a transaction, every node has to check the validity of the transaction, and also the digitally signed by the sender, and then the majority of the node have to vote whether if to include the transaction into the ledger. But mostly if your transaction are valid, your transaction will be included into the ledger automatically. This promote the transparency and traceability of the transaction. So the concept of blockchain is not too recently. So in 1991, Stuart and Scott have described the first time the cryptography secure chain. So they pioneered the concept of cryptography secure chain. And then at 2000, Stefan Kohn has published his theory on cryptography secure chain, and plus addition some idea on the implementation of the blockchain. But in 2008, the developer working under the pseudonym Satoshi Nakamoto released a white paper detailing on how to establish the model for the blockchain. But in 2014, with blockchain 2.0 is born. So the difference is the Ethereum blockchain introduced a computer program within the block. So the program within the block can execute the code and can do the instruction as what it's wrote. And this thing become known as the smart contract. So what are the unique features of blockchain? So first, the unique feature of blockchain is the immutability, which means that the data cannot be modified or deleted easily. The second unique feature is decentralization, meaning the data is governed by groups of people instead of a single entity. The third is the enhanced security by disconnecting the node that which having or trying to change the characteristic, fraudulently change the characteristic of the network. The fourth unique feature of the blockchain is the distributed ledger, which contains the transaction distributed and maintained by the various nodes within the system, which reduce the reliance over one single information system to serve the request. And fifth is the interoperability, mean the blockchain is well known to be highly interoperable due to its transparency, and it's using the standard protocol to communicate with each other. And lastly is the consensus mechanism, which is the agree upon on what is the rule for all nodes to make a decision on whether if to accept the transaction or whether if to accept if the block is correct or not, and then add into the chain. So here we are going to discuss on the existing challenges that face the current financial system, also the enterprise in general. So here, traditional finance or TradFi remain a foundation of the providing the stability of the global financial system. However, there are some limitations, such as there's a low financial inclusion, which the accessibility to those financial services is limited due to the high registration and processing fee. Also, the physical distance from the customer into the financial institution, and also lack of necessary document in order to qualify as the and in order to enroll to be part of the financial transaction. Next is centralization. So even though traditional financial institutions comply with government law and regulation, but they are not without the flaw. There are some largest banks that in the world that can be failed. For example, like the Washington Mutual with $180 billion, and also Lehman Brothers with $639 billion collapsed in 2008. This level of centralization could pose a systemic risk when those institutions collapse within the financial system. So the next point is the operational transparency. So there is a lack of operational transparency where the regular investor as well as the regulator are unable to know whether if that financial institution do what they are doing entirely. There are some action that happen within those institutions that regulator or regular investor doesn't know, and those actions that could lead to the failure of that institution. For example, like the mortgage-based security in the U.S. Caused the U.S. market to collapse in 2008 due to a very high leverage betting on the housing market. And also the accounting fraud happened in Wirecard in 2020. And in traditional finance, it slowed down the financial creativity because different institutions, they use different standards, they use different equipment, they use even different protocol in order to the core banking system and so on. So these, when they want to interrupt with the other bank or the other institution, it's very hard in order to just connect from one system to another system, and also consider the cybersecurity risk, which cause those innovation or creativity slow down. And lastly is the speed and cost. Consider that if you perform a transaction across multiple institutions, then those will take a lot of time and also take a lot of fee in order to finish the transaction. So next we are going to talk about the challenge on the centralized finance. So centralized finance, in short, CFI, are the business involved with offering of the crypto trading and other financial services such as loan, interest earning account, lending and borrowing, etc. This range of services are rapidly expanding, and some of more complex services such as option and derivative are rapidly developing as well. However, there are significant problems such as first is the intermediary dependent, that users are not in full control of their asset, and they cannot do anything without depending on the exchange in order to start moving the asset or withdrawal of the asset. And the second point is the lack of operational transparency. Some entity that work hard using customer asset to invest in the risky asset. For example, like Celsius or 3 Arrow Capital that take the money from the depositor to invest in a very risky asset. For example, like Luna Terra cryptocurrency. And then when the Luna Terra crypto collapse, it dragged down everyone that invest in those kind of asset alongside. So you can see that it is like a systematic risk that when someone collapse, it drag down everyone at the same time and causing the price to collapse immediately. So for the third part is the CFI business operate and offer service like a bank, but most of them do not own a bank license. So user that deposit the money or asset within those CFI business, they could lose all of their asset in the event of hack that happen with those centralized change, or in case of insolvency happen during of the lack of which they cannot claim the money back to the user because they don't have enough money, and they have to pay the debt by using the asset from the user that deposit the money into the system. So the user, general user, will lose everything in case of those company went bankrupt. So lately you might have heard that the file of bankruptcy from one of the largest crypto exchanges, FTX, which caused millions of users who deposit the asset within those platforms to be unable to withdraw the money. So all of it might be lost, or I'm not quite sure because it's not a done deal yet, but it's in the process of filing insolvency. So some exchange also practice anti-competitive behavior. It means like they could impose a barrier or for new business to compete with them. And this monopolistic behavior could lead to a situation we call too big to fail, where the outtake of that single entity could cause a full financial crisis. So next, I'm going to talk about the challenge regarding to the permissionless decentralized finance. So in permissionless decentralized finance, or DeFi, on a permissionless blockchain, replicate existing financial services found in the traditional financial system on the platform. The peer-to-peer model provides a unique opportunity for retail institution participants to unbundle trade file and replicate that on the DeFi. And however, DeFi come with its own risk. For example, like the technology risk, the complexity and immaturity of DeFi increase its vulnerability. So blockchain foundation itself could be susceptible to failure or attacks, which are more common when these networks scale at a rapid scale without a commensurate technology safeguard. As you can see here, there's a lot of cybercrime happen in the permissionless blockchain because everyone is anonymous, and it's very easy to do the crime with those platforms. So next, I'm going to talk about the compliance and legal risk. DeFi make it very difficult to regulate any single identify any responsible party for crime or for what they are doing, like anti-money laundering or combating financial terrorism, is very difficult. So they can use those permissionless blockchain to bypass any legal or regulatory obligation, for example, paying tax or like that. And last but not least is that due to lack of law and regulation, authority involving interpretive supervision, examining, and enforcement expose DeFi into financial risk, which with the size of DeFi increase from year to year, present a risk bigger to the financial system. So next, I'm going to talk about why it's not about financial anymore, but for enterprise or industry that might use blockchain to solve their problem, why they don't use it. So first of all, that the company tend to follow the old practice. It means that they still stick with the manual process and traditional practice. Still, they still able to manually change the transaction or revert like any transaction due to human error or so on and so forth. And the second point is the compatibility issue. It means that their system is not ready to be integrated with the blockchain or changing from conventional system to the blockchain system. Third is the scalability problem that maybe some institution that they handle with a lot amount of data, and they think that blockchain may obstruct the speed and accessibility of the day-to-day operation. And the fourth one is the low managerial support. It means that some of the manager or top management, they don't know the benefit of blockchain. And then when the technical guy come and propose that, okay, this could be solved by blockchain, and then they ask how much, then it become a no-no because it's too expensive and the benefit is not high. So the manager will say no. And the last one is the technology accessibility. So due to the lack of government support, or like in order for those company or enterprise to transform themselves from the conventional system into blockchain, so that's why they don't have the help or incentive in order to move or improve their operation by moving to blockchain. So here I'm going to discuss about the core feature on how CAMDL is going to address almost all of the challenges I presented previously. So CAMDL is a hybrid network that provide the public use with some control of from us to prevent any illegal activity happen on the network. So CAMDL is designed to prevent itself from any cybercrime by performing and checking the KYC process of the user. So it's mean like every user that come and use our blockchain network is required to do the KYC process. This, by doing so, we ensure that every account have the real identity, and when like a horrible thing happen, like cybercrime, hacking, or ransomware, we can know who are doing those kind of things, and we don't want those bad people to use our network to scam or to like perform a pump and dump scheme or so on and so forth. So this one of the solutions that we try to change from the permissionless blockchain that too open and very risky for general use of our people. So to encourage the use more to public to take part of our network, CAMDL using the Ethereum virtual machine as a software to execute our smart contract. And Ethereum virtual machine is considered to be one of the most popular smart contract out there. And there's a lot of developer and also the resource to get started with developing the Solidity. For the consumer protection and complying with the regulatory objective, user within CAMDL is required to perform KYC. The CAMDL is integrated with CAMDGKey, a mobile-based KYC service developed under CAMDX, with the aim of verify digital identity of the user within the network. CAMDGKey have been using for online business registration since 15th of June 2020, and multiple government institutions, also private institution, has been using CAMDGKey to authenticate the user into their services. So I'm going to talk a quick one on what is the CAMDGKey and its ecosystem. So here's the overview of CAMDGKey ecosystem. We have various government institutions that are using CAMDGKey to lock their user into their services. And we also have some of the banks have been integrated as part of the open API solution in order to verify the user identity before enrolling into their platform. So in the future, we are planning to offer user with like a wallet for user to store and manage the private key. So we are going to offer the mode, the custodial and non-custodial mode, because we know that for Cambodian people, they maybe have a struggling in order to protect their private key. So we also offer the way to securely protect their private key, and then they can retrieve back whenever they need. So we also have planned to provide the IPFS as a service for user to host any file or text or file on our peer-to-peer file storage system. So I'm going to talk about the potential use case here. So there's a lot of use case within different sector for blockchain. So for example, for government, blockchain can be used as a decentralized KYC, immutable land registry, or document issuance on verification and digital stamping. Also for the case for the enterprise, enterprise can use blockchain to do the traceability system to trace the supply chain, and they can also use blockchain to do inventory and bookkeeping. Also Web3 app and tokenomic model such as tokenization of a ticket or any NFT based item. So back a bit. To be known that CamDL is a blockchain platform provider. We provide a platform for you to test and learn. So we encourage everyone in every sector in order to test, come in, join and test, learn and explore on how blockchain can actually help within your company or enterprise. So here is our milestone. So we have been starting developing this project since January of 2022. Since the beginning, our goal to focus mainly on technology selection on which we can ensure those regulatory objectives that we mentioned in the second part. Mostly is the consumer protection, to make sure that we provide a platform which is safe for public user to use. And we don't want any illegal activity to happen on our network. And in April of 2022, we have reached the alpha test for our internal team. And as of today, we have launched our mainnet. And in the short future, we plan to launch many supporting services such as a mobile wallet. Also the privacy feature for some enterprise or company that want to host the smart contract, but their application is privacy sensitive. So it means that they don't want those records to leave their system and expose on the public blockchain. We also offer the privacy feature where you can host a private smart contract within CamDL, and then you can use it normally, and no one else can read the content inside your smart contract. And next, we are going to roll off-chain data integration or Oracle to make sure to provide an API access or access to the API in the outside world from the blockchain context. And last but not least, we are going to add the private IPFS or private file storage for general user to be used. So here are our team members. We would like to thank His Excellency Dr. Kong Marie, Under Secretary of State, Ministry of Economy and Finance, and Secretary General of the General Secretariat of Digital Economy and Business Committee, and Dr. Tang Nguyen Lee, Executive Director of the Digital Startup Center, for giving advice and support us until today. And I would like to say thanks to all our team members. including various disciplines to make sure that our project is proceed without any problem. So we have DApp research and development, we have full stack developer, we have system and DevOps engineer, we have web, mobile, and graphic design, we have AI engineer, and we also have operator and compliance researcher to help with our projects. So yeah, last question, how to join, how to use your network, right? So we recommend you to use Brave Wallet in order to start using our network. So you can go to camdl.gov.kh and hashtag network info, or you go down to the network info in order to add your our network configuration to your mobile wallet. And after you click the add, you have to click approve in order to allow the web page to add the CamDL into your browser. And as our network is require you to perform the KYC, you have to have a CamDG account in order to enroll yourself into CamDG. But don't worry, you still transaction anonymously on the blockchain. No one know who you are, but only the regulator side, they just keep your info in case of something bad happen. So if you intend to use blockchain for the good purpose, no scam, no ransomware or anything, you don't have to worry with our platform. So you have to go to that website to perform the KYC process. And after you finish the KYC process, you can go to our Faucet application and log in with your CamDG key and then put the redeem code here to get the token. Actually, you don't have to log in to get the token, but the amount is pretty small. But if you use the redeem code in order to claim the token, you can get a large amount of token. So yeah, thank you very much for your present here.
I would like to kindly thank Mr. Tomsaray Watana, Blockchain Project Lead of the Joe Startup Center, for providing a detailed and insightful presentation on the Cambodia Distributed Ledger, or CamDL in short, which is a government hybrid blockchain network. Thank you. All Excellencies, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, I would like to respectfully and warmly inform you of the next agenda, which is the first fireside chat session on Web 3.0 Beyond the Hype. This session will be moderated by Mr. Akshay Tiragan, Innovation Manager of Prudential Singapore, and will be joined by Mr. Leon Fung, Head of Apex, Regional Director of Binance. Now, I would like to respectfully ask all of you to wait for 5 minutes while we arrange the seatings for our fireside chat session. Thank you. All Excellencies, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, due to time constraints, we will now move to the second presentation before the fireside chat session. I would like to respectfully invite Mr. Andy Chun, Regional Director of Technology Innovation of Prudential Corporate Asia, to please come and give a presentation on demystifying Web 3.0, which will also include a video. All Excellencies, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Mr. Andy Chun.
Good morning, All Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen. It's really a pleasure to be speaking here at the 2022 CamTech Summit powered by Prudential at the FinTech stage of the Cambodia Tech Expo. I apologize for not being able to be here in person. I have enjoyed visiting Cambodia. The topic of my talk is demystifying Web3 and the metaverse. Web3 can sometimes be elusive as it may mean different things to different people. So hopefully I can add some clarity. Let me share my screen first. Can you allow me to share screen, please? Okay, within the next 30 minutes or so, I plan to talk about a few things. Firstly, what is the metaverse Web3? And provide some general use cases from real life. Since this is CamTech and really about finance and technology, I will also give some emergent use cases in BFSI, banking, financial services, and insurance. Also share how Web3 can be used for good. And finally, I'll raise some challenges that we need to work on and address. Now, if you have seen this movie, Ready Player One, you probably already have a very good idea of what is the metaverse and Web3. The movie does a great job in explaining the metaverse vision, at least what the metaverse might look like in the year 2045, according to Steven Spielberg. If you haven't seen the movie, don't worry. I'll show you a very short clip from the movie right now.
I was born in 2027, after the corn syrup droughts, after the bandwidth riots, after people stopped trying to fix problems and just tried to outlive them. My parents, they didn't make it through those times, so I live here in Columbus, Ohio with my Aunt Alice. In 2045, Columbus is the fastest growing city on Earth. It's where Halliday and Morrow started gregarious games. These days, reality is a bummer. Everyone's looking for a way to escape. And that's why Halliday, that's why he was such a hero to us. He showed us that we could go somewhere without going anywhere at all. You don't need a destination when you're running on an omnidirectional treadmill with quadraphonic pressure-sensitive underlay. James Halliday saw the future, and then he built it. He gave us a place to go, a place called the Oasis. This is the Oasis. It's a place where the limits of reality are your own imagination. You can do anything. Go anywhere. Like the Vacation Planet. Surf a 50-foot monster wave in Hawaii. You can ski down the pyramids. You can climb Mount Everest with Batman. Check out this place. It's a casino the size of a planet. You can lose your money there. You can get married. You can get divorced. You can go in there. People come to the Oasis for all the things they can do, but they stay because of all the things they can be. Tall, beautiful, scary, a different sex, a different species, live action, cartoon. It's all your call. Yeah, that's me. Well, that's my avatar. At least until I feel like changing. Except for eating, sleeping, and bathroom breaks, whatever people want to do, they do it in the Oasis. And since everyone is here, this is where we meet each other. It's where we make friends. Locate H.
Locating H. H located. Sector 12, Planet Doom.
Planet Doom, the most dangerous place in the Oasis. And pretty great place to pick up coin. Figures H would be there. H is my best friend in the Oasis. He's my best friend, period. Even though I've never actually met him in the real world.
What's up, H?
Hey, what up, Z?
Next race is in 20 minutes and I can't do the late one. What the hell are you up to?
Man, getting my kills on, bro.
Is that Daito?
Daito and Show. Arigato.
Shit. It's an artifact hunt?
Yup. Gregarious 120.
Turn into any giant robot for 2 minutes. That's rad.
Artifacts. Those were key. Halliday made sure the Oasis was littered with enough randomly powerful stuff that anyone could win if they had the skills. Death matches and artifact hunts are a good way to coin snatch, but depending on your level of armor, they're risky. You see, everyone starts the same, but the more coin you make, the more you level up. If you get killed, your avatar can come back to life, but you lose all your stuff. Everything you've ever worked for. All your money. Your clothes. Your weapons. Since people spend most of their time in the Oasis, losing your shit means, well, losing your shit.
Well, that's hopefully that was interesting. So the metaverse seemed to be a lot of fun. So mind you, the movie was filmed 5 years ago, and I think it's still the best explanation of the metaverse. In the movie, the metaverse is called Oasis, with many interconnected worlds. We currently have many metaverses as well. Unfortunately, they're not yet interconnected, but open interoperability standards are being defined now to make that happen. The clip also explains how metaverse is an immersive virtual 3D world where you could do anything, go anywhere virtually. You can also, meet up with friends and have fun. In the metaverse, you can also be anyone or anything you like through avatars, and you can change your avatar anytime. Unlike Oasis, our current state-of-the-art avatars do not allow you to go from metaverse to a metaverse. You need to change a different avatar in each metaverse. But this will eventually be possible with interoperability standards. In the Oasis, if you play games, you win crypto coins, but you can also lose coins if you get hit. Currently, we call this business model play to earn. You can use virtual currencies to buy digital artifacts like weapons. We call these digital assets NFTs. What the movie is trying to explain is that in addition to the fun, immersive 3D environment, there is an underlying Web3 digital economy behind the metaverse that is driving the ecosystem. The clip also touches upon social and mental impact of spending too much time in the metaverse. So metaverse ethics and governance will be important elements that we need to address as we move ahead. Now, some people see the Web3 to be the natural evolution of the internet in terms of how we interact with computers. Back in the early days, we don't have web or even monitors. We only have keyboards, punch cards, line printers, then keyboards and monitors, and then the mouse was invented in the 1970s with graphic user interfaces. Web 1 in the 1990s, basically HTML, CSS, read only, and then Web 2 in the 2000s was also network sharing, mobile first, cloud computing. And now we're at the stage that we call Web 3 with the metaverse. So it has AI services, 3D immersive environments, decentralized architectures with blockchain or distributed ledger technology, cryptocurrencies, NFTs, smart contracts, and new edge computing infrastructure. So people see Web3 with immersive 3D to be a natural evolution of human-computer interactions from line printers, text monitors, GUIs, web, mobile to AR, VR wearables. The metaverse are not just fun and games in an immersive 3D environment. They're also fully functional digital economies. So metaverses are built on top of Web3 technology stack, which includes, of course, blockchain, DLT, NFTs, non-fungible tokens, smart contract, which is, of course, tiny little programs that get executed and automate the processes that fulfills the contract. And then, of course, cryptocurrencies, CBDCs, stable coins, and of course, crypto wallets to store your private keys and keep your crypto safe and accessible, as well as your NFTs. So what all this means is that metaverse and Web3 adds new dimensions and e-commerce capabilities into VR, AR, and virtual worlds. Web3 technology stack allows for the emergence of new types of finance, called DeFi, where you can buy, sell, trade, use crypto virtual currencies in a highly decentralized manner. And some people think that DeFi is maybe the future of FinTech. We're not sure, but we'll have to see. So a crucial element of Web3 is the distributed ledger technology. And what are the benefits I think most of us here really understand? So it's really to enable trust. There's no need for intermediaries because every transaction is on the ledger, immutable. Enables trust between partners you might not even know. DLT also streamlines data reconciliation and saves time in handling data from multiple parties. Now, this is very useful when you have a digital ecosystem with lots of partners working together and exchanging data. So that saves a lot of time. Since validated records are immutable and cannot be changed, this is part of what builds the trust. Last but not least is total transparency. Because DLT is shared, there's total transparency among partners, participants on all data exchanges and transactions. So a lot of people are interested in the metaverse and Web3 because the market is supposedly going to be really big. According to Citibank, the metaverse market will reach 8 to 13 trillion by 2030. In a McKinsey study, it predicts that consumers will be spending 4 to 5 hours per day in the metaverse in the coming 5 years. And Apple supposedly will be launching a new headset next year. This is exciting because Apple haven't launched a new product category for 7 years. The last one was the Apple Watch. So potentially, metaverse will become mainstream soon when there's more headsets, especially more affordable headsets. Now, that was a quick background on metaverse and Web3. What I'd like to do next is to share some very general use cases of metaverse and Web3. The first one is a very common example where NFT represents a digital image. This one is probably the most famous and the most expensive NFT ever. This digital image was auctioned by Christie's auction house for close to $70 million back in March last year. It's called the first 5,000 days because people, the artists, drew one digital image per day for the past 14 years and collaged them together in one big gigantic NFT. So the success of this particular NFT triggered numerous other artists to follow suit as well. Now, some may say metaverses are great for virtual concerts. For example, Marshmello, Travis Scott, Ariana Grande, Justin Bieber all had concerts in the metaverse. This is Travis Scott. He made 20 million in 15-minute concert with over 30 million people watching it live. Now, in a normal concert, there can only be a maximum of 50,000 people. And 50 million is made more than what we would have made in 4 months of touring. This is an example of how transformative the metaverse can be. K-pop bands like Blackpink and others are also reaching out to Gen Zs and millennials through music videos done in the metaverse. This one is a collaboration with Selena Gomez and reached over 135 million views. Shows how popular this 3D metaverse format is. Now, besides holding concerts and music videos in the metaverse, artists are also beginning to release songs and music albums as NFTs. So the Kings of Leon became the first band to do this last year. They made $2 million in revenue, and depending on the type of NFT you purchase, besides the music album, the NFT also entitles you to exclusive, physical vinyl, special digital artwork, lifetime concert passes, special front row seats, as well as opportunity to hang out with the band. So over time, these NFTs are expected to increase in value as well. So thanks to smart contract attached to the NFT, each time the NFT is resold, a percentage of money could go back to the artist or a charity if they like. So in this example, NFT is not just a music album, but it's also a ticket that entitles the owner to a collection of perks. Unlike an NFT that represents just an image, this type of NFT engages the fan base and brings artists closer to the fans. Live Nation is the parent company of Ticketmaster, which is the world's largest ticket marketplace and global market leader in live event ticketing. So last year, Live Nation Entertainment launched Live Stubs, which is a digital collectible NFT ticket stub. So with normal physical paper ticket, you usually throw away the ticket stub after the show. But with NFT ticket stub, fans get to keep it in their crypto wallet as a collectible. So each is unique, of course, with dates, session, row, and seat information. Fans can even share, trade, and resell them if they like. So another really important difference that this has with paper ticket is that with paper ticket, you have no idea who your fans are. There's no way to interact with them and engage them. But with NFT tickets, artists can connect to the ticket holder before, during, and after the show. Earlier this year, MGM Grand Las Vegas launched Las Vegas' first ever NFT-enabled live performance experience for dance group Jabberwocky. So tickets were sold as a NFT ticket collection that delivers a new immersive fan experience where attending the show is only the beginning. So when the ticket holder redeemed their limited edition NFT ticket at the show, the monochrome digital ticket you see here transformed to a vibrant video, serving as a permanent keepsake and a digital key that unlocks exclusive benefits. For example, NFT owners can enjoy premium seats, behind-the-scene access, meet and greet opportunities, really receive limited edition content and merchandise, as well as future offer. Again, the most exciting aspect of NFT ticketing is engaging with and rewarding fans before, during, after events, and the NFT can be traded open market that encourages further ticket sales. So this approach to using NFT is designed to be a community-oriented experience that leads to deeper relationship with fans. Recently, Starbucks in another example. Recently, Starbucks in the U.S. also extended its loyalty program with NFTs, and it's called Odyssey. So this loyalty program members can earn and buy digital collectible stamps, which are NFTs, that unlock access to new immersive coffee experiences. Members can earn NFTs by completing journeys, which are usually interactive games, challenges that further raises brand awareness. So if you can collect enough NFTs, you can redeem exclusive perks like virtual espresso martini making classes, unique merchandises, trip to Starbucks coffee farm in Costa Rica. So Starbucks believe that with Web3, they will be able to connect loyalty program members not just to Starbucks, but also with each other through Web3 communities. Another example is Spotify. So Spotify is the biggest e-commerce platform in the US. Globally, 2.6 million merchants use Spotify to create their online stores. Because NFTs are so popular, Spotify just now they will provide tools so that any online stores on their platform can create and sell NFTs with or without cryptocurrencies or a crypto wallet. So this makes buying, selling NFTs like buying, selling any other products on Spotify. The customer adds the NFT to their cart and checks out with a credit card or crypto if they like. Shops can also use NFTs for token gating, which is like a paywall, except that you get emissions via NFTs. So this allows token holders to access exclusive items, discounts on new arrivals, VIP access to store openings, invitation to members-only events, or basically any shop owner, anything that any shop owners can imagine. Also, earlier this month, Meta also announced that creators will be able to create their own digital NFT collectibles and sell them directly to fans on Instagram. So this allows users to support creators by buying their unique NFTs. Now, I just want to share this chart very quickly. I'm not going to go over all points, but what you see is at top is the pre-digital customer journey. This is for insurance company. So pre-digital, customer journey starts with word of mouth, radio, TV, and then getting leads is through agents' own personal leads. Processing is of course manual and paper. And then to the current digital transformation age is, we use, SEOs, SMOs to figure out where the customers are. We use AI robo advisors, AI chatbots to talk with customers, and AI underwriting, as well as maybe AI propensity model, fraud detection. But what's most interesting for me is the future of Web3. So in addition to social media marketing, we may have metaverse marketing, which is happening now. In the future, there will be metaverse hyper personalization, because data collected in the metaverse is thousands of times more than what we do now. For example, we know what your avatars look like. We detect your emotions better. We sense your body gesture. We know where you spend your time, et cetera, et cetera. So, and then for marketing, instead of giving out prices for lead generation, we will be doing NFT airdrops to crypto wallets. In the future, instead of robo-advisor, we'll be using avatar advisors. Lead generation and distribution may be different. We may distribute leads based on which metaverse our customers hang out, or where our agents hang out. And payments, maybe we need to consider, crypto, stable coins, or CBDC payments. Policies may be in form of NFTs connected to smart contracts for automated payment. Servicing would be through avatars, et cetera, et cetera. So it's a really interesting change. And then for BFSI industry, there's also numerous use cases, and I'm just going to go through very quickly due to time. So for example, obviously using Metaverse Web3 for marketing campaigns in the Metaverse, so that you provide 3D experiences and games and NFT collectibles. You can leverage Web3 for reward and loyalty program, like the examples that I just talked about. You can streamline multiple party transactions with blockchain information sharing, where there's trust and streamline, so that there's no need for data reconciliation. Parametric insurance can be powered by blockchain and smart contracts. So parametric insurance or type of insurance where payments triggered by a parameter or event, maybe diagnosis of a certain critical illness or cancer. Crop insurance against bad weather is another example. Flight delay is also another example. So what blockchain and smart contract does is that automates the total process and makes it scalable. And then, of course, there's also insurance for the metaverse, because there's currently a certain amount of risk involved with using NFTs. There's a lot of examples of NFT being stolen and crypto wallet being hacked into. The metaverse can be also an insurance platform, because we talk about DeFi, where there's protocols that provide insurance for metaverse using Web3 itself as an insurance platform. So the way it works is that basically anyone could be insured. Of course, this is not regulated and highly risky. And there's, of course, metaverse funds. So traditional banks and asset management companies are also expanding in metaverse with metaverse funds. Usually these funds are EFTs, will invest in companies related to metaverse infrastructure, computing, virtualization, gaming experience, etc. So I want to share some examples. So governments around the world are closely following Web3 development, and some are beginning to formulate strategy, policy, and establishing regulations. For example, Hong Kong SAR government recently announced several new initiatives. Firstly, they issued NFTs for the Hong Kong FinTech Week, which was just a couple of weeks ago. And NFTs could be used as a memento, buy exclusive experiences, to create avatars, and discount for next year's event. The government is also tokenizing its green bond and using DLT for the bond's entire life cycle, from issuance, settlement, asset servicing, secondary trading, redemption, et cetera, et cetera. Hong Kong is also advancing its e-Hong Kong dollar initiative to provide a price-stable alternative to crypto, and thus build confidence needed to empower more Web3 innovation. Hong Kong SFC, Securities and Futures Commission, is also looking into allowing virtual asset futures (EFTs) to be traded in Hong Kong. There's also examples of using Web3 for good. So, firstly, Web3 and ESG. There's many ways that could be done. For example, blockchain could provide better transparency and ensure all supply chain are compliant to corporate ESG policies, where supply chain data is recorded on the blockchain. Another example is maybe in the use of Web3 for creating insurance products that are crowdfunded or mutual community insurance. This is where a group of people put money together on a regular basis to help each other in communities where they're needed. So by leveraging Web3 technology, create a platform that's highly cost-effective and scalable, because insurance is recorded NFTs and automated with smart contracts. Surprisingly, Web3 can be used to reach out to the underserved population that might not have access to good health protection or the unbanked. Just to give an example, in Cambodia, for example, roughly 30% of the population covered by social health insurance schemes, while most health expenses, roughly 60%, are out of pocket. So having affordable basic health insurance will greatly reduce the out-of-pocket expenses. However, currently Cambodia's insurance penetration is roughly only 1%. So this put a vulnerable population at risk of falling into poverty if there's a catastrophic medical expense. Furthermore, over 3/4 of the population in Cambodia are unbanked, making it harder for them to purchase protection. So fortunately, more than half of the population in this segment owns smartphones and can access apps. So how can Web3 reach out to these unprotected? So of course, the most famous example using Web3 to reach out to unbanked is Cambodia's own account system that allows anyone phone number to transfer funds and make payment. So Bacan is, of course, built on top of DLT that builds trust between citizens and Cambodia's real, as well as between numerous banks and payment service providers in Cambodia. So this empowers a bank to be able to take control of the money without intermediaries. So financial inclusiveness is very crucial to helping people out of poverty. To do our part, helping with the underserved, a couple of months ago, Prudential Cambodia launched our insurance selling machine to make protection solutions accessible for more Cambodians. So these machines or kiosks are being rolled out to 50 locations in Cambodia this year and many more next year. So these machines remove barriers in buying insurance. So as not all Cambodians have regular access to stable, high-speed internet connections, these machines have their own internet connections and power supply. So currently, the machines provide bite-sized insurance products for less than $10 per year, even at locations without access to stable internet or bank branches. So these machines also accept payment for Bacan, allowing the unbanked to benefit from protection as well. The machines also support greatly accessibility options, such as larger text displays for elderly users, prints receipts and policies. And once customers get the policy, they can manage it through our Pulse app, which is a set of tools to help customers become healthier and wealthier. Now, the main aim is to empower people to take control of their own personal health and finance anytime, anywhere. By taking better care of their health, the app helps reduce the risk of non-communicable diseases such as heart disease and diabetes. So non-commutable diseases are the leading cause of death worldwide. So Web3 is still evolving, and there's still a lot of challenges. The screen shows you some of the most important, of course, ethics and guidance, governance, and as well as regulations and standards around the metaverse. In fact, the World Economic Forum, during their annual Davos meeting in May, created a new initiative to highlight the importance of building an economically viable but inclusive and safe metaverse. So this includes governance of the metaverse, how the technology environments of the metaverse can be developed in a safe, secure, interruptible, and inclusive manner. So to end my talk, and this is my last slide, so I end with this quote from Mark Twain: "The secret to getting ahead is getting started." So many people ask me, what is the next step? How do I get started with Web3? And the advice I always give is to go and experience Web3 and Metaverse firsthand. Get a head gear and explore 3D Metaverse, or open a crypto wallet and shop for NFT, or better still yet, go and create an NFT and send it to someone. So the metaverse and Web3 is so different from Web2 that we're used to. You really need to experience it firsthand to fully understand what it is. So the best way to learn is to get started. Thank you for joining my talk. Do feel free to reach out to me anytime. Thank you and enjoy the rest of the summit.
Thank you, Mr. Andy Chen, for delivering a very insightful presentation. Now, due to some agenda changes, I would like to invite Mr. Leon Fong to deliver a keynote remark on Web 3.0. Please welcome Mr. Leon Fong.
Well, first of all, I would say thank you so much to the Cambodia Tech Expo for having Binance. And this is probably the 6th or 5th time I've been to Cambodia this year. Right? This shows you how important a market Cambodia is for blockchain and the crypto industry. And I think one reason why I'm always so excited to be in Cambodia is because of one thing: the people. I think the people of Cambodia are very resilient. The people of Cambodia are entrepreneurs, and you all love to build. I mean, look at the turnout today, right? Even though this hall is half empty, when you step out, great amount of energy. And obviously, I love for this room to be full, but to the audience who turned up today, thank you so much for showing up, because I think it means a lot for us to have a strong community supporting the development of Web3. And maybe just to get everyone a bit more lively and awake today, just a quick show of hands. How many of you here today, okay, just listen, if you have the Binance app and have signed up on Binance before, please stand up. Stand up. Stand up. Come on. Show me live. Stand up. Wow, okay. Half the room. That's really good. Please sit down. How many of you here have actually bought a digital asset in the last 12 months? Give me a clap. Come on, give me a clap. Louder. Who is that? Okay. Based on this really small survey, I feel like adoption in Cambodia, it's only in its very, very early stages. And our role as a leading infrastructure and technology provider in the blockchain space is really two things: to leverage our technology to provide financial freedom and to drive up financial inclusion. And I think a lot of people here today will talk about financial inclusion and why it matters. And let me tell you about why it matters from the perspective of Binance. First of all, over the past 2 years, we've seen the COVID pandemic hitting the economies of countries. Even in a country like US, the top 1% of asset owners have only consolidated in terms of the amount of wealth that they have. Right? A lot of people talk about a growing income gap in economies and countries. The real gap that we see is actually the growing asset ownership gap. The people who own assets consolidate and start owning more assets. I think in the US today, the top 1% actually own close to just under 60% of total wealth in the country. 1%, just under 60% of the wealth. How do we change that, especially in countries where people do not have access to basic financial products and do not use the financial services available to them to actually move up the asset ownership curve? So there are a few things that Binance is very passionate about, as I said. Number one, which is make it easier for people to start their Web3 or digital asset journey. And part of that is actually to focus on partnering with local institutions, whether it's telcos, whether it's financial institutions, whether it's infrastructure providers, to make that first experience of entering into crypto a lot easier. Right? This could mean making it easier for people to on-ramp, making it easier for people to pass the KYC, making it easier for people to get access to better internet connection so that they can actually tap into the world of Web3. That's one of our key focuses in the country of Cambodia today, which for us we're extremely excited about, because if you want to look at the total market cap of Cambodian securities, public securities, it's only about $2.8 billion today on the Cambodia Stock Exchange. That's around 10% of your total annual GDP. And we believe that with a more vibrant FinTech, blockchain tech ecosystem, we can actually increase the amount of funding that's flowing into this market, which in turn will drive the number of entrepreneurs who build good projects. So infrastructure development, making it easier for people to enter and on-ramp crypto is our number one objective. The second objective is really what we call increasing adoption, right? And when we talk about increasing adoption, it's about two things. It's not just about making it easier for people to invest in coins. It's about making it easier for users to build real-life applications with utility on the blockchain. So I was talking to a friend earlier, and we talked about the applications of blockchain. Right? Obviously, you could use blockchain, for example, in the space of agriculture. How do you make the supply chain a bit more robust? How do you use smart contracts to distribute subsidies to farmers? That's one application. The second application is remittances. How do we make remittances more efficient? For example, Cambodia has actually a pretty good project that's built on blockchain called the Bakong, right? They partner with Soramitsu to actually build a national blockchain currency. And today that facilitates blockchain remittances, for example, from Malaysia, which is where I'm from, to the Kingdom of Cambodia. However, that's just one example. How do we create more examples that allow people to transact cross borders in the currency of their choice using blockchain technology while reducing the cost of remittance? Right? These real-life use cases are very important to ensure that blockchain is here to stay. Right? Many people have said that, hey, cryptocurrency, digital assets, highly speculative. And you know what? That's actually not wrong. A lot of assets out there perhaps don't have the utility that they're meant to have. And I do not deny that. But I think it's our role as so-called the guardians of the industry, as people who are really building on this technology, to really ensure that the entrepreneurs with the right vision, with the right levels of commitment, get the right levels of funding to build the projects that can ultimately benefit societies and communities. And I think the third thing as well, which is really, really important, is that in today's world, we're seeing borders getting more and more defined. What I mean is, when there are challenging economic times, countries tend to look inwards rather than look outwards. We see countries get a lot more, pro-protectionist measures when it comes to trade policies. We see countries make it more difficult for people to travel in and out of their countries. Right? However, as the world starts moving towards a more divisive direction, I think it's important to understand the power of global and regional collaboration. All right. Recently, a few days ago, I was here at the ASEAN Summit, and I think the key there is really to focus on working together as one region to overcome the recent economic challenges, to really focus on the road towards economic recovery. And when we talk about collaboration, one thing we need to really understand is to not shut down borders to foreign and global liquidity. Right? It's really important for developing countries to really focus on what is the best way and best policies that you put forward to attract FDI and to allow for global capital flows to enter into your market. And I can tell you that digital assets is one way to keep on attracting the global liquidity flow, because we've seen that happen all around the world. All right? If you look at this asset class 2 years ago, it was around $400 billion in total market cap. Last year, at peak, it was about 2.8 trillion dollars in terms of total market cap. Today, despite everything that's happened in the industry, despite the headwinds, despite the Fed raising interest rates, the digital asset total market cap still stands around $880 billion as of today. Right? So if you take a step back and zoom out, compared to 2 years ago, we're more than 2x up. Compared to a year ago, yes, this asset class has shrunk. But this shows you, right, that there's still so much potential to grow. And a lot of you might ask me, how big can this asset class grow to? And I can tell you the total global market cap of gold, public equities, as well as fixed income securities all around the world is a $250 trillion asset class. Today, crypto is at about $880 billion. And I think that shows you, even if we grow 10x to $10 trillion, we're still a small fraction of the total amount of global liquidity that's invested into what we call risk-on assets. And I think Cambodia can play a huge role in really driving the growth and adoption towards taking a bigger chunk of the global asset allocation. And I think one key lesson, as I end my keynote today, is I want all of you to think about how can we, as people who are passionate about tech, as people who are passionate about your countries, as people who want to help our economies, drive the growth and adoption of blockchain technology. Because if you ask me if the internet was the future of information transfer, blockchain is the future of money and the future of exchange value transfer. On that keynote, I'll end it here. Thank you so much. Right, sorry that I cut short my speech, but the Prudential guys gave a pretty extended, lengthy talk earlier. So sorry I can't be here to talk a bit longer about blockchain, but really happy to have all of you here. Thank you.
Many thanks to Mr. Leon Fong, Head of Apex Regional Director of Binance, for giving a keynote speech. Thank you. On the next agenda is our fireside chat session on One FinTech ASEAN Movement. This session will be moderated by Mr. Akshay Tiragan, Innovation Manager of Prudential Singapore, and will be joined by Ms. Amor Maclang, Digital Filipinas Convener of FinTech Philippines Association, and Ms. Wina Leona, Executive Director of Cambodian Association of FinTech Finance and Technology. Before we begin this session, we would like the audience to first watch a video. Please enjoy.
Southeast Asia is one of the richest and most diverse cultural regions of the world. Yet, each nation has its own language, culture, history, and economy. Although we are all ASEAN, we have never been unified. However, there is a force that can bring us all together despite our differences: FinTech. The Philippines has become one of the fastest growing adopters of technology in the world. With over 100 million people spread across over 2,000 inhabited islands. Technology has empowered the movement of commerce and capital across the country. The ASEAN market is currently valued at $3 trillion. With a rapidly expanding consumer base of at least 600 million in population, the region is now on its way to becoming the fourth largest economy in the world. This economic growth is driven largely by the emergence of FinTech, which has expedited the digital transformation of the region. ASEAN is solidifying and establishing its lead in financial tech, creating the possibility of an ASEAN super economy as a collaborative region united by FinTech. It is through this that One ASEAN FinTech champions a socio-economic change that can transform the region into a technological hub that can set the standard for emerging economies around the world.
FinTech is making big waves in Singapore. We house a number of FinTech unicorns on this tiny island with many more scale-ups growing. As a financial hub, we have a wide diaspora of FinTech solution. Venturing to Southeast Asia is critical for companies based on this tiny island, and One ASEAN FinTech movement is the right platform to support the drive.
FinTech is an equalizer. The financial services where the technology is advancing financial inclusion and advancement in Malaysia and also part of the entire Southeast Asia region.
The opportunities and the potential of Cambodia in this space is very well understood. We are among the few countries in the world where we have payment infrastructure which is blockchain based and is backed by National Bank of Cambodia. So I think that makes us uniquely poised to drive the One ASEAN FinTech movement.
At Thai FinTech Association, we have been working with startups, incumbents, regulators in order to expand networking in FinTech. We have been collaborating with not only domestic stakeholders but also international holders. So, by joining one ASEAN FinTech movement, we believe that we could foster more and more connectivity, collaborating, and networking to groom the best of ASEAN.
The advancement of FinTech in collective effort to achieve a unity that only technology can bring.
Thank you, everyone. I hope you enjoyed the video. Now, I would like to respectfully invite Mr. Akshay Teragan, Innovation Manager of Prudential Singapore, to please come on the stage and be the moderator for the fireside chat session. Please welcome Mr. Akshay Teragan. Next, I would like to respectfully invite Ms. Amor McClain, Digital Filipinas convener of FinTech Philippines Association, to join us on the stage for this fireside chat session. Please welcome Ms. Amor McClain. Lastly, I would like to respectfully invite Ms. Weena Leona, Executive Director of Cambodian Association of Finance and Technology, to join us on the stage for this session. Please welcome Ms. Weena Leona. Now, I would like to respectfully hand over the stage to Mr. Akshay Teragan to be the moderator of this session. Thank you.
Thank you, and welcome to this session. Quick mic check. Everyone can hear me at the back? Okay. So let's start off with a more. Yeah. What is the One FinTech Alliance? Movement.
Hello, mic check. Thank you. Good morning to everyone. Allow me to I know this is going to be the closing panel, and the excitement in Cambodia does not come close to, as Leon said, this half-filled room. But this is going to be an important day, Akshay and also Weena, because today marks when those who are actually committed to hear about not just FinTech and digital assets came to stay. So let's all give a round of applause for the committed few who are going to change Cambodian digital economy, and that's you guys. So the One ASEAN FinTech movement as you can see, is the first time all of the 1, 2, 3, 5, 6 major markets are coming together. So when FinTech got first coined, maybe 5 or 6 years ago, everyone was wondering what it's about. And to this day, there's still a lot of uncertainty. Is it about banks, payments? My good friend and kabayan Wina here has shared that here in Cambodia, people still look at it from the payment side of things, right? But I'll tell you something controversial to all those who are watching on FB Live. One day, very soon, the word FinTech is going to die. Okay? And what we're all working towards is for that time to come sooner. Because we need to ensure that payments are seamlessly embedded across all verticals. Very critical that we do that. That's the only way we can progress. So, isn't it ironic? We are all working hard towards the day when the word FinTech is no longer relevant. So keep that. If there's one thing you'll remember, it should be that. Second, there are the children of FinTech. So blockchain and digital assets. Weena, actually, it's always my misfortune to speak immediately after a rock star. Last week, just I think 2 days ago, I spoke immediately after CZ of Binance. Yup, the CZ himself. And so, of course, after he left, half of the room filled out to have a selfie with him. And then immediately after, we have a rock star like Leon speaking. But it's important because all the children of FinTech, blockchain, decentralized assets, crypto, and then its ancillary children, InsurTech, Agri-Tech, EduTech, because basically what are those? You take a vertical in an industry, you embed payments, and that's what it is. Insurance with FinTech is InsurTech, and so on and so forth. And so what's happened is that unless we are cross-border and working interoperably with each other, we are not truly digital. So a digital Cambodia or a digital Pilipinas cannot truly be digital unless they are working collaboratively with each other. Hence, the need for a One ASEAN FinTech movement. So I corrected you. And this is what the president of the Singapore FinTech Association said. Our good friend Shadab. Shout out to you. It's not an association, it's not an organization, it's not an alliance, it's a movement. Because what FinTech is doing is powering various verticals so that on their own, they could have their own life, right? So imagine it is the fuel that will eventually run your Lamborghini or Ferrari, whatever your poison is. Sorry, it was long-winded, but we had to explain.
Okay, awesome. So let's probably go over to Veena and then let's talk about some of the key FinTech trends that you're seeing in Cambodia, and then we'll come back to a more for the same question.
Yes. Okay, so I'm not going to say payments because it's overrun already. That's too much. I know everyone knows that it's just payments, but there's so much. One thing, I guess, is we've just talked about it this morning. Blockchain, of course. That's what it is. We have now Bakong. Everyone's using Bakong. So that is the key FinTech trend that I see. But there's so much more, actually. There's also the digital assets. A lot of people are still new to this, but there is digital assets happening in Cambodia. To echo Mohanty's speech last Monday, the first day, there's also tokenization. Tokenization is going to be, everyone uses ABA. Everyone's like doing mean ABA. That's the next step. Tokenization. Everyone would have to be doing tokenization. And of course, lastly, ESG. Everyone needs to be concerned of the environment and how it's happening. For example, here in Cambodia, there's now a lot of flooding that's happening, digitalization and ESG is one of the most important thing that we have to look forward to in these upcoming years.
Okay. Amo, do you want to add to that a bit?
Maybe the idea of open finance, right? So let me share a few trends. So the holy grail, when I say that one day fintech is going to die, the eventual objective is actually embedded finance, right? So open finance basically means I don't have to go to the app of Prudential, sorry, if I wanted to access Prudential products. That's what it means. So if I wanted to buy a wealth product from you, I could do it in, say, another marketplace that I'm more affiliated with. Like, say, maybe an Amazon or a Lazada, right? Or a Shopee. So what that means is you will not see the brand, you will feel it, and it will be more impactful to your life. So that's one, open finance. Also, the importance of identity. For a country like the Philippines, and we have a very similar trajectory as other ASEAN countries. The true root of financial exclusion is the lack of identity of people. If I wanted to give you a payment, I need to pay more than double to prove who you are, right? And that's what causes friction. That's what makes transfer of money and ergo prosperity expensive. So how do we aid that? How do we give people the rightful dignity which they can be self-sovereign over? So in other words, your dignity is what you own, and once you own it, you can make money out of it. That's why I'm not such a big fan of Web 2 hyperscalers, who we will not make mention of today, because they own your identity and they make money out of your identity. You need to own it back. That's the true revolution. And then last but not the least, something that I'm very excited about in the Philippines, Weena made mention of tokenization. I want to take it a step further. It's the tokenization of doing good for a country and the environment, for example, right? So it's not just the tokenization or the fractionalization of real estate so that more liquidity can come in, as Leon said, but rather, how do I incentivize people to say, do green transition, right? Greening the supply chain, greening agriculture. The only way you can track and make people rich and adopt it is by making people rich, and that's through fractionalized ownership and through tokenization, right? So I'm going to pause for now. I don't want to scare Cambodian friends. It's my first time in Phnom Penh, but as you can see, so many trends actually.
So it's okay. I'll give you another shot at this, right? So how critical is Web 3.0 to this vision that the movement has? Okay.
So the question is, ladies and gentlemen, how important Web3 in this digital economy movement? Okay, so drop the word fintech and instead assign digital economies. Sorry, I'm a Filipino, so let me explain to you, like I shared with Leon earlier, why ASEAN, why the Philippines is going, and why Cambodia, ASEAN overall is going to be important. Two of the most important crypto markets in the world is ASEAN. Aren't you proud to be ASEAN? So even the foreigners who are here because they want to be ASEAN, right? And isn't that radical? We were all colonized many years back. So now we're colonizing back the West with digital assets and crypto. And how are we doing that, right? Vietnam and the Philippines are leading the onslaught of crypto and digital assets uptake in the world. That's ASEAN. No one consumes crypto like we do. But in the Philippines, no one creates digital assets like we do. But the problem is the ecosystem that will make it sustainable, from the builders to the educators to the regulatory framework, they're not yet in place. So while we in ASEAN have the most potential, we also have the most work cut out for us. So to answer your question, we are going to be the most important market, not just for digital economies, but for digital assets overall. Guess what, guys? We're now even bigger than the EU. Okay? So let me just put a pin on that.
Okay, so I'll I'll take a step back because I'm here in Cambodia, so I'm not gonna endorse Philippines right now. Yeah, so I'll take a step back and I guess moving on a Cambodian mindset, that's how we're looking at it. Cambodia has been not too much in touch. I'm sorry to say this to all the Cambodians when it comes to Web 3.0. Whatever Amor is saying, some of you here are gonna Google it later. Google it later, guys. I ask you to do it. But moving on it is that it's happening. Web 3.0 is now here. It's happening. And if we do not try to be with it, go with it, we're gonna be left behind. Echoing what happened for me at SFF last few weeks ago, when they stepped up on the Cambodian booth, that was the first time we have a FinTech Cambodian booth in SFF. Yay. Everyone, when they stepped up, what they said was, oh, Cambodia has tech, Cambodia has FinTech. And then they get baffled because it's a Filipina who's explaining it there. What I just wanted to say that I dream that for Cambodia next year, they won't wonder if Cambodia has tech, Cambodia has FinTech, and it's a Cambodian who's explaining it to them. I guess that's just what I wanted for Cambodia.
Sorry, can I just add quickly to that? Forget crypto, forget NFTs, forget digital assets. The underlying technology is immutable, which is blockchain, okay? So that's here to stay. How many of you guys use email? I just want to make sure everyone's still listening and awake. Can you raise your hand if you use email? Good. How many of you know about TCP/IP? Okay, a handful. The point is, you do not need to know about TCP/IP to be able to use email. Now, the underpinning for all digital assets in crypto is blockchain. And if Web 1, I always love saying this, Web 1 is the internet of porn. I always say that. It's the transfer of technology and also the not technology, visuals, video, photos, right? Web 2, social, right? That's the internet. Web 3 is about finance, peer-to-peer, power back to the people, trust. And that's what blockchain technology is. And that's not going to change. And that's going to be here to stay forever. The train is going to move. I just want to echo what my sister said. That train is running and it's not stopping for anyone. So it's up to you to be either on that train or to just wave bye-bye.
Okay. So maybe the last question, Veena. How do you think the alliance so the movement is going to help the ecosystem around FinTech?
That's a very important question. When I started working with this amazing group of people and leaders, I felt so small, to be honest. There's so much to learn for Cambodians, specifically Amor's here from the Philippines, Singapore, Mr. Mohanty was here. They're all powerhouses when it comes to digitalization, tech, FinTech. So what Cambodia, being part of this alliance, what Cambodia is going to be is that we will have to learn. And there's now a seat at the table, I might say, for Cambodia within the ASEAN. People know now that Cambodia has tech, Cambodia has FinTech. We have something to offer, guys. That's just keeping it simple, that's it.
So first and foremost, I came here at great difficulty. No, it's not just the fact that I lost my luggage. We lost our luggage last night. No one could understand us. But more importantly, I didn't realize how difficult it was to travel from Bali to Cambodia. And also, it's very difficult to travel from Manila to Cambodia. So that tells you that despite the fact that we are, I don't want to say we're neighbors, we're brothers and sisters in ASEAN. Despite the fact we're brothers and sisters, it's almost impossible and difficult for us to be together and to be with each other. I said, Indonesia is it is the biggest market in ASEAN. And do you know what time our flight is from the Philippines to Indonesia? We arrive at 2 a.m., like 12 midnight after clearing 2 a.m. So can you imagine, guys? It means that even if we can be working closely together, the way the EU is doing it, we are not. Start with something as basic as flight. So what does this movement represent? What this movement represents is the fact that we are going to be in the future interoperable and working closely together, right? We're not going to allow distance, problem with flights to get in the way. My presence here is not just the Philippines being here. It is a shout out to Ruben of Singapore being here. Let's give him a warm round of applause. Wilson being here from Malaysia. Chon Ladet from Thailand. Nguyen from Vietnam. Shadab also from Singapore. I did not miss out on anyone. And of course, Weena, Remy, Thomas, and from Cambodia and myself. So we have this saying, and I'll close with that, where one goes, we all go. That's why we ran the video, we produced the video. So me being here today, you're talking to the rest of my brothers and sisters in ASEAN, and we're so excited to have Cambodia be an active part in this movement. And we look forward to coming back here next week, and hopefully with my luggage intact. Thank you.
Thank you. So in a way, you've brought home the point that the flights just represent a lack. I mean, so one of the reasons the flights don't work the way they're supposed to, which is instant, is because the underlying infrastructure of transfer of value or money between these countries doesn't exist. And so one of the priorities for most of the central banks in this region over the next 5 years, which was kicked off at the Singapore FinTech Festival, is to enable, so cross-border payments, it's piloted, it works well. But to be able to pull it off at a multilateral basis, at an ASEAN level, with multiple countries involved, that's the challenge. But I believe the day that challenge is overcome, then problems like airways or the loss of luggage will be a thing of the past. Yeah. So with that, we'll close the panel. Thank you for your attention. Yeah. Thank you, lovely ladies, for giving us your perspective and for launching this movement. I think everyone here is excited to be a part of it.
Thank you, and we look forward to having more Cambodian fintechs and Cambodian representation in our movement. And I think it might be unrealistic to think just because we're here, we're going to do something ASEAN-wide like a Euro. No. For starters, what we're going to do are bilateral exchanges. So Cambodia and the Philippines will work more closely. Cambodia and Thailand, Cambodia and Singapore. We'll start with that. And then cumulatively, we'll build off on it. And that's how we'll get this movement up and running. Maraming salamat po. I hope that will be your first Filipino word for the day. Maraming salamat.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you. I would like to extend my appreciation to Mr. Akshay Taragon for moderating this session, as well as to Ms. Amor McClang and Ms. Weena Leona for actively participating in this session. Moving on to the next agenda, I would like to hand over the stage to Ms. Kon Frandara, Board Treasurer of Cambodian Association of Finance and Technology, to provide an observing remarks. All Excellencies, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Ms. Kon Frandara.
Good morning, good afternoon, Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for inviting me today as the observer of this great event, FinTech stage of Cambodia Tech Expo 2022. Before moving into my observation, remarks of the whole event, allow me to introduce myself. I'm Kun Frong Dara, CAFT Board Treasurer, and True Money Cambodia, Acting CEO. Next, I would like to give my observation remark towards the whole events. Not only one word could describe very insightful events to express how excellence, all the speeches and speakers' contribution to this, event over the past 3 days. I feel that it's only appropriate to take the time to give my personal thoughts. And thanks, again, for the interesting topic and the panel discussions of various experts with various backgrounds. I would like to highlight some of my favorite topics, such as ASEAN-Cambodia FinTech development. I see that there are many opportunities for the ASEAN nations financially connected and benefits. Also the challenges that were addressed that the community needed to tackle in order to establish a banking and strong financial system for the whole ASEAN connectivity. Second topic, KHQR and Bakong, a breakthrough innovation which opens up a land of opportunity for Cambodian financial institution connectivity. At the same time, KHQR and Bakong is playing a very significant role in Cambodians' people's daily life. And I personally enjoy using KHQR and Bakong as well. Third topic, open banking. The use of open APIs that enable third-party developers to build applications and service around the financial institution. I'm very excited but also concerned about it. I can see more opportunities if there are well-established regulations and proper implementation. Open banking will be a driving force of innovation in the banking industry. InsurTech, another topic around technology and insurance, where I see potential future growth for both the insurance and financial industries. And of course, it will enable everyone access to insurance through advanced technology in collaboration with financial entity. Web 3.0, another hype and new iteration of the World Wide Web, which could be the new disruption to the financial services world. I'm very interested in the idea of decentralization and blockchain technologies, cryptocurrencies, and NFTs, which could potentially be the new age of the financial services. And of course, cybersecurity and threat, which is very important for all of us, digital businesses, and especially among financial institutions. We must ensure that our customers and businesses are well protected in a secured and sustainable way. Even though the 3-day summit was not enough to showcase all of Cambodia's vast fintech and tech landscape, but I believe that the audience, both local and international, were able to get a glimpse of what Cambodia, vibrant economy, has to offer and focus to align with the speedy growth of Industrial Revolution 4.0. And it is becoming the main driving force to support the economic development, as in many countries in the world currently leveraging of this technology to digitize their economy. This is due to a strong belief that technology could promote efficiency of economic activities such as the production of delivery of goods and service of both in public and private sector. As a result, it spurs an inclusive and sustainable economic growth. Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, allow me to end my regard by encouraging all the participants here to actively contribute your ideas and thought of what should we bring in for the next FinTech Summit 2023 to maintain the best quality of the event. Thank you and stay safe. Samakun.
I would like to kindly thank Ms. Kun Frandara, Board Treasurer of Cambodian Association of Finance and Technology, for providing a meaningful and insightful observing remarks. Thank you. Next is the last remarks of the FinTech stage of CTX 2022. I would like to respectfully hand over the stage to His Excellencies Dr. Kong Marie, Under-Secretary of State of the Ministry of Economy and Finance, and Secretary General of the General Secretariat of Digital Economy and Business Committee, to provide a closing remark. As he is currently on a mission abroad, he would like to deliver his speech via video. All Excellencies, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome His Excellency Dr. Kong Marie.
អាយដាមលោកជំទាវអ្នកអង្គញាលោកស្រីភ្ញៀវកិត្តិយសជាតិនិងអន្តរជាតិជាទីមេត្រីនាពេលនេះវេទិកាបច្ចេកវិទ្យាហិរញ្ញវត្ថុបានឈានមកដល់ទីបញ្ចប់ហើយខ្ញុំសូមធ្វើការវិតម្លៃខ្ពស់ចំពោះវេទិកានេះដែលបានប្រព្រឹត្តទៅប្រកបដោយភាពជោគជ័យជាមួយនឹងវប្បធម៌ចែករំលែកចំណេះដឹងក្រោមបរិយាកាសរីករាយនិងស្និទ្ធស្នាលជាអនេកសូមបញ្ជាក់ថាវេទិកានេះជាវេទិកាមួយក្នុងចំណោមវេទិកាធំៗផ្សេងទៀតនៅក្នុងពិព័រណ៍បច្ចេកវិទ្យាកម្ពុជា2022ដែលរាជរដ្ឋាភិបាលកម្ពុជាបានអនុញ្ញាតឲ្យក្រសួងឧស្សាហកម្មវិទ្យាសាស្ត្របច្ចេកវិទ្យានិងនវានុវត្តន៍រៀបចំឡើងអមជាមួយកិច្ចប្រជុំកំពូលអាស៊ានដែលកម្ពុជាធ្វើជាម្ចាស់ផ្ទះលាតក្នុងឱកាសនេះតាំងនាមខ្ញុំជាអគ្គលេខាធិការនៃគណៈអគ្គលេខាដ្ឋានគណៈកម្មការសេដ្ឋកិច្ចនិងធុរកិច្ច Digital និងក្នុងនាមខ្លួនខ្ញុំផ្ទាល់ខ្ញុំសូមសម្ដែងអំណរគុណយ៉ាងជ្រាលជ្រៅនិងស្មោះស្ម័គ្រជូនចំពោះឯកឧត្តមអគ្គបណ្ឌិតភាចារ្យអូនពាន់មេរដ្ឋឧបនាយករដ្ឋមន្ត្រីក្រសួងសេដ្ឋកិច្ចនិងហិរញ្ញវត្ថុនិងជាប្រធានគណៈកម្មការសេដ្ឋកិច្ចនិងធុរកិច្ច Digital ដែលបានផ្ដល់នូវការគាំទ្រយ៉ាងពេញទំហឹងចំពោះវេទិកានេះខ្ញុំសូមថ្លែងអំណរគុណចំពោះធនាគារជាតិនៃកម្ពុជាមជ្ឈមណ្ឌលបណ្ដោះធុរកិច្ចថ្មីដេជោ FinTech Summit ក្រុមហ៊ុន Prudential កម្ពុជាសមាគមសហព័ន្ធហិរញ្ញវត្ថុនិងបច្ចេកវិទ្យាកម្ពុជាសមាគមធនាគារនៅកម្ពុជានិងសមាគមមីក្រូហិរញ្ញវត្ថុកម្ពុជាព្រមទាំងស្ថាប័នដែលជាដៃគូផ្សេងៗទៀតក្នុងការចូលរួមសហការដឹកនាំរៀបចំសម្របសម្រួលគាំទ្រវេទិកាបច្ចេកវិទ្យាហិរញ្ញវត្ថុនេះឲ្យប្រព្រឹត្តទៅបញ្ចប់ដោយភាពរលូននិងសម្រេចបាននូវជោគជ័យតាមការរំពឹងទុកខ្ញុំក៏សូមសម្ដែងនឹងការកោតសរសើរនិងវាតម្លៃខ្ពស់ចំពោះអាយដាមលោកជំទាវលោកស្រីជាវាគ្មិននិងអ្នកសម្របសម្រួលជាតិនិងអន្តរជាតិទាំងអស់ដែលបានចំណាយពេលវេលាដ៏មានតម្លៃក្នុងការចូលរួមលេខចំណេះដឹងឧត្តមមានវត្តនិងនវានុវត្តន៍បច្ចេកវិទ្យាហិរញ្ញវត្ថុផ្សេងៗក៏ដូចជាផ្ដល់ជាមតិយោបល់តាមរយៈការពិភាក្សាយ៉ាងផុសផុលការលើកជាសំណួរនិងការផ្ដល់ជាអនុសាសន៍នានាក្នុងរយៈពេល3ថ្ងៃកន្លងមកនេះខ្ញុំក៏សូមថ្លែងអំណរគុណចំពោះអាយដាមលោកជំទាវអ្នកអង្គញាលោកស្រីភ្ញៀវជាតិនិងអន្តរជាតិដែលជាតំណាងឲ្យក្រសួងស្ថាប័នពាក់ព័ន្ធដៃគូអភិវឌ្ឍគឺស្ថានធនាគារមីក្រូហិរញ្ញវត្ថុក្រុមហ៊ុនធានារ៉ាប់រងសមាគមក្រុមហ៊ុនបច្ចេកវិទ្យាហិរញ្ញវត្ថុនិងធុរកិច្ចថ្មីព្រមទាំងសាធារណជនដែលបានចូលរួមនៅទីនេះផ្ទាល់និងបានទស្សនាការផ្សាយផ្ទាល់តាមរយៈបណ្ដាញសង្គម Facebook គួរបញ្ជាក់ផងដែរថាវេទិកាបច្ចេកវិទ្យាហិរញ្ញវត្ថុនេះជាពិព័រណ៍បច្ចេកវិទ្យាហិរញ្ញវត្ថុលើកដំបូងនៅកម្ពុជាហើយត្រូវបានធ្វើបញ្ចូលគ្នាជាមួយនឹងFinTech Summit ក្នុងគោលបំណងដើម្បីចូលរួមគាំទ្រនិងអភិវឌ្ឍសេដ្ឋកិច្ច Digital និងបច្ចេកវិទ្យាហិរញ្ញវត្ថុរាជរដ្ឋាភិបាលកម្ពុជាបាននឹងកំពុងយកចិត្តទុកដាក់យ៉ាងខ្លាំងក្នុងវិស័យបច្ចេកវិទ្យាហិរញ្ញវត្ថុ ជាក់ស្ដែងគណៈកម្មការសេដ្ឋកិច្ចនិងធុរកិច្ច Digital នៃក្រមប្រឹក្សាជាតិសេដ្ឋកិច្ចនិងសង្គម Digital បាននឹងកំពុងរៀបចំសេចក្តីព្រាងគោលនយោបាយអភិវឌ្ឍបច្ចេកវិទ្យាហិរញ្ញវត្ថុកម្ពុជាដើម្បីបង្កើតក្របខ័ណ្ឌរួមសម្រាប់វិស័យបច្ចេកវិទ្យាហិរញ្ញវត្ថុនិងរួមចំណែកដោះស្រាយបញ្ហាកង្វះខាតក្របខ័ណ្ឌគតិយុត្តក្នុងវិស័យបច្ចេកវិទ្យាហិរញ្ញវត្ថុអាយដាមលោកជំទាវអ្នកអង្គញាលោកស្រីឯតាមបទបង្ហាញនិងកិច្ចពិភាក្សាក្នុងវេទិកានេះខ្ញុំសូមគូសរំលេចបន្ថែមក៏ដូចជាសម្ដែងនៅចំណាប់អារម្មណ៍ទៅលើចំណុចសំខាន់មួយចំនួនដូចខាងក្រោមទី1បច្ចេកវិទ្យាហិរញ្ញវត្ថុក្នុងតំបន់អាស៊ានបច្ចេកវិទ្យាហិរញ្ញវត្ថុគឺជាវិស័យមួយក្នុងចំណោមវិស័យ Digital ដែលរីកលូតលាស់លឿនបំផុតក្នុងតំបន់អាស៊ានជាពិសេសក្នុងប៉ុន្មានឆ្នាំចុងក្រោយនេះចំនួនដ៏លើសលប់នៃប្រជាជនដែលមានគណនីធនាគារនិងការកើនឡើងនៃអត្រាប្រើប្រាស់សេវាអ៊ីនធឺណិតបាននឹងកំពុងធ្វើឲ្យតំបន់អាស៊ានក្លាយទៅជាតំបន់ទាក់ទាញសម្រាប់នវានុវត្តន៍បច្ចេកវិទ្យាហិរញ្ញវត្ថុនិងជាទីផ្សារដែលមានសក្តានុពលសម្រាប់ផលិតផលនិងសេវាកម្មហិរញ្ញវត្ថុបែបនវានុវត្តន៍ទី2បច្ចេកវិទ្យាហិរញ្ញវត្ថុក្នុងប្រទេសកម្ពុជាមិនខុសពីទស្សនវិជ្ជាក្នុងតំបន់និងអាស៊ាននោះទេកម្ពុជាក៏ជាប្រទេសមួយដែលមានភាពរីកចម្រើនក្នុងវិស័យបច្ចេកវិទ្យាហិរញ្ញវត្ថុផងដែរយ៉ាងណាមិញវិស័យបច្ចេកវិទ្យាហិរញ្ញវត្ថុបាននឹងកំពុងប្រឈមជាមួយនឹងបញ្ហាមួយចំនួនរួមមានកង្វះខាតនិងភាពមិនច្បាស់លាស់នៅក្នុងក្របខ័ណ្ឌគតិយុត្តកង្វះខាតនៅសមាមាត្រភាពនៃការស្នើសុំអាជ្ញាប័ណ្ណរវាងធុរកិច្ចថ្មីផ្នែកបច្ចេកវិទ្យាហិរញ្ញវត្ថុនិងគ្រឹះស្ថានក្រុមហ៊ុនឯកជនធំកង្វះខាតស្នា Digital កង្វះខាតធនធានមនុស្សផ្នែកបច្ចេកវិទ្យាហិរញ្ញវត្ថុនិងកង្វះខាតនវានុវត្តន៍បច្ចេកវិទ្យាហិរញ្ញវត្ថុជាដើមទី3បច្ចេកវិទ្យាហិរញ្ញវត្ថុក្នុងវិស័យធនាគារនៅកម្ពុជាជាការកត់សម្គាល់នៅក្នុងវិស័យហិរញ្ញវត្ថុធនាគារការប្រើប្រាស់ប្រព័ន្ធទូទាត់សងប្រាក់តាមប្រព័ន្ធអេឡិចត្រូនិកបាននឹងកំពុងបន្តកើនឡើងតាមរយៈកំណើននៃចំនួនគណនីប្រាក់បញ្ញើគណនីកាបូបអេឡិចត្រូនិកដែលហៅថា e-wallet និងប័ណ្ណទូទាត់គូផ្សំនឹងការបន្តធ្វើទំនើបកម្មហេដ្ឋារចនាសម្ព័ន្ធប្រព័ន្ធទូទាត់សងប្រាក់ដើម្បីធានានៅអន្តរប្រតិបត្តិការទូទាត់ឆ្លងគ្រឹះស្ថានហិរញ្ញវត្ថុឲ្យកាន់តែមានភាពទូលំទូលាយជាក់ស្ដែងផ្អែកតាមរបាយការណ៍របស់ធនាគារជាតិនៃកម្ពុជាក្នុងឆ្នាំ2021ចំនួននៃការធ្វើប្រតិបត្តិការទូទាត់ក្នុងទម្រង់ Digital មានរហូតដល់ទៅ698កណ្ដកសញ្ញា8លានប្រតិបត្តិការក្នុងរង្វង់ទឹកប្រាក់ប្រមាណ199កណ្ដកសញ្ញា76,000លានដុល្លារសហរដ្ឋអាមេរិកលទ្ធផលទាំងនេះបានមកពីការរួមចំណែកយ៉ាងសំខាន់នៃការដាក់ឲ្យប្រើប្រាស់ប្រព័ន្ធបាគងនិង KXQR ដែលជា QR code ស្តង់ដារសម្រាប់ធ្វើប្រតិបត្តិការទូទាត់រវាងគ្រឹះស្ថានហិរញ្ញវត្ថុទី4វិស័យធានារ៉ាប់រងនៃវិស័យហិរញ្ញវត្ថុមិនមែនធនាគារទីផ្សារធានារ៉ាប់រងនៅកម្ពុជាកំពុងមានវិវត្តឆ្ពោះទៅមុខយ៉ាងឆាប់រហ័សគួរឲ្យកត់សម្គាល់ដោយមានបុព្វលាភដុលរហូតដល់ទៅប្រមាណ300លានដុល្លារសហរដ្ឋអាមេរិកក្នុងឆ្នាំ2021មានក្រុមហ៊ុនធានារ៉ាប់រងចំនួន40ក្រុមហ៊ុនដែលកំពុងដំណើរការអាជីវកម្មក្នុងទីផ្សារធានារ៉ាប់រងជាមួយនឹងទ្រព្យសកម្មប្រមាណ845លានដុល្លារសហរដ្ឋអាមេរិកនិងមូលនិធិភាគហ៊ុននឹកប្រមាណ378លានដុល្លារសហរដ្ឋអាមេរិកបន្ថែមពីនេះវិស័យធានារ៉ាប់រងបានរួមភាគទានក្នុងសេដ្ឋកិច្ចក្នុងអត្រាប្រមាណ1កណ្ដកសញ្ញា 11% ជាមួយនឹងដកវិតេធានារ៉ាប់រងប្រមាណ18កណ្ដកសញ្ញា75ដុល្លារសហរដ្ឋអាមេរិកក្នុងមនុស្សម្នាក់ក្នុងឆ្នាំ2021ទី5 Blockchain និង Distributed Ledger Technology ក្នុងវិស័យហិរញ្ញវត្ថុវិមជ្ឈការវិស័យហិរញ្ញវត្ថុវិមជ្ឈការជាប្រព័ន្ធហិរញ្ញវត្ថុថ្មីមួយសម្រាប់បំពេញបន្ថែមលើប្រព័ន្ធហិរញ្ញវត្ថុបែបប្រពៃណីដោយប្រើ Blockchain និង Distributed Ledger Technology ហើយมันមានគ្រឹះស្ថានហិរញ្ញវត្ថុជាអន្តរការីនោះឡើយត្បិតថាវិស័យហិរញ្ញវត្ថុវិមជ្ឈការស្ថិតនៅក្នុងភាពថ្មីត្រឡាងនិងមិនទាន់មានការប្រើប្រាស់លំទូលាយនៅកម្ពុជាយើងត្រូវធ្វើការពិសោធន៍ដោយផ្ទាល់និងសិក្សាឲ្យបានច្បាស់លាស់និងស៊ីជម្រៅដើម្បីទាញយកអប្រយោជន៍ជាអតិបរមានិងកាត់បន្ថយហានិភ័យឲ្យស្ថិតក្នុងកម្រិតអបបរមាពីបច្ចេកវិទ្យាបែបនេះជាក់ស្ដែងថ្ងៃនេះមជ្ឈមណ្ឌលបណ្ដុះធុរកិច្ចស្ពៃតេជោបានដាក់សម្ពោធឲ្យប្រើប្រាស់ជាផ្លូវការនៅ Cambodia Distributed Ledger ហៅថា CAMDL ដែលជាបណ្ដាញ blockchain ក្នុងគោលដៅបំណងផ្ដល់ជាថ្នាលសម្រាប់សាធារណជនធ្វើការពិសោធន៍ឬអភិវឌ្ឍកម្មវិធី Web 3ដើម្បីផ្ដល់ជាដំណោះស្រាយនិងជាផ្នែកមួយនៃប្រព័ន្ធអេកូឡូស៊ីវិស័យបច្ចេកវិទ្យាហិរញ្ញវត្ថុវិមជ្ឈការទី6សេចក្តីព្រាងគោលនយោបាយអភិវឌ្ឍបច្ចេកវិទ្យាហិរញ្ញវត្ថុកម្ពុជាបច្ចេកវិទ្យាហិរញ្ញវត្ថុជាផ្នែកមួយយ៉ាងសំខាន់ក្នុងការសម្រេចបាននៅសេដ្ឋកិច្ច Digital និងការអភិវឌ្ឍ សេដ្ឋកិច្ចកម្ពុជាប្រកបដោយបរិយាបន្ននិងងាយបត់បែនដោយឃើញពីសារៈសំខាន់នេះរាជរដ្ឋាភិបាលកម្ពុជាបាននឹងកំពុងតាក់តែងក្តីព្រៀងគោលនយោបាយអភិវឌ្ឍវិស័យបច្ចេកវិទ្យាហិរញ្ញវត្ថុកម្ពុជាដែលគោលនយោបាយនេះនឹងដើរទ្របជាមួយនឹងមូលដ្ឋាននៃគោលនយោបាយហិរញ្ញវត្ថុពាក់ព័ន្ធផ្សេងៗពលគឺសំដៅឆ្លើយតបទៅនឹងគោលការណ៍ចំនួន3រួមមានលើកកម្ពស់បរិយាបន្នហិរញ្ញវត្ថុរក្សាស្ថិរភាពហិរញ្ញវត្ថុបង្កើននវានុវត្តន៍ក្នុងវិស័យហិរញ្ញវត្ថុអាយដាមលោកជំទាវអ្នកអង្គញាលោកស្រីជាមួយនឹងការរីកចម្រើនឥតឈប់ឈរនិងឆាប់រហ័សរបស់បច្ចេកវិទ្យា Digital និងដើម្បីជាបច្ច័យរួមចំណែកក្នុងការអភិវឌ្ឍបច្ចេកវិទ្យាហិរញ្ញវត្ថុនៅកម្ពុជាឲ្យរីកចម្រើនទៅមុខបន្ថែមទៀតខ្ញុំសូមលើកទឹកចិត្តអាយដាមលោកជំទាវអ្នកអង្គញាលោកស្រីដែលជាតំណាងក្រសួងស្ថាប័នពាក់ព័ន្ធដៃគូអភិវឌ្ឍគ្រឹះស្ថានធនាគារមីក្រូហិរញ្ញវត្ថុក្រុមហ៊ុនធានារ៉ាប់រងសមាគមក្រុមហ៊ុនបច្ចេកវិទ្យាហិរញ្ញវត្ថុនិងធុរកិច្ចថ្មីគិតគូរពិចារណាលើចំណុចសំខាន់ចំនួន3ដូចខាងក្រោមទី1កសាងចលនាឧស្សាហកម្មហិរញ្ញវត្ថុជំវិញបច្ចេកវិទ្យាដែលនាំទៅបំលាស់ប្ដូរអតិបរមាទី2ជំរុញនវានុវត្តន៍បច្ចេកវិទ្យាហិរញ្ញវត្ថុតាមរយៈការកសាងទីផ្សារមួយដែលស័ក្តិសមនឹងនវានុវត្តន៍ទាំងនេះទី3កសាងគោលការណ៍សមត្ថភាពរវាងក្រុមហ៊ុនធំនិងធុរកិច្ចឬអាជីវកម្មធុនតូចអាយដាមលោកជំទាវអ្នកអង្គញាលោកស្រីមុននឹងបញ្ចប់ខ្ញុំសូមទាញចំណាប់អារម្មណ៍បន្តិចថាកត្តាជោគជ័យលើការអភិវឌ្ឍបច្ចេកវិទ្យាហិរញ្ញវត្ថុគឺតម្រូវឲ្យមានការចូលរួមយ៉ាងសកម្មពីគ្រប់ដៃគូពាក់ព័ន្ធដោយទីខ្ញុំសូមអំពាវនាវឲ្យគ្រប់ដៃគូទាំងអស់បន្តចូលរួមកិច្ចសហការនិងគ្រប់គ្រងបន្ថែមទៀតដល់ការកសាងគោលនយោបាយបទបញ្ញត្តិហេដ្ឋារចនាសម្ព័ន្ធខ្នាស់បច្ចេកវិទ្យានិងកិច្ចសហប្រតិបត្តិការនានាក្នុងការកសាងប្រព័ន្ធអេកូឡូស៊ីបច្ចេកវិទ្យាហិរញ្ញវត្ថុដ៏រឹងមាំនិងរស់រវើកនៅកម្ពុជាជាទីបញ្ចប់ខ្ញុំសូមបួងសួងដល់វត្ថុស័ក្តិសិទ្ធិទាំងអស់ក្នុងលោកជូនពរបវរសួស្តីសិរីមង្គលមានលៀបមានជ័យមហាប្រសើរជូនអាយដាមលោកជំទាវអ្នកអង្គញាលោកស្រីទាំងអស់ឲ្យសម្រេចបានជោគជ័យការងារមានសុភមង្គលគ្រប់ក្រុមគ្រួសារនិងជួបប្រទះតែពុទ្ធពរទាំង4ប្រការគឺអាយុវណ្ណៈសុខៈពលៈកំបីគ្លៀងនេះឡើយខ្ញុំសូមប្រកាសបិទវេទិកាបច្ចេកវិទ្យាហិរញ្ញវត្ថុចាប់ពីពេលនេះតទៅសូមអរគុណ
I would like to kindly thank His Excellency Dr. Kongmari, Undersecretary of State of the Ministry of Economy and Finance and Secretary General of the General Secretariat of Digital Economy and Business Committee, for providing the closing remarks as well as highlighting the key takeaways for the 3 days event of the FinTech stage. Thank you. All Excellencies, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, the third day of the FinTech stage of CTX 2022 has come to an end. Before closing today's event, I would like to provide an overview of the key activities for this morning's event. The third day of the FinTech stage of CTX 2022 proceeded under the theme of cybersecurity and decentralized finance, with 2 presentations on launching Cambodia Distributed Ledger and on demystifying Web 3.0, as well as 1 keynote and 1 fireside chat, followed by an observing remarks, and lastly, a closing remarks by His Excellency Dr. Kongmari, Undersecretary of State of the Ministry of Economy and Finance and Secretary General of the General Secretariat of Digital Economy and Business Committee. With the conclusion of the third day, the FinTech stage of CTX 2022 has also come to an end. On behalf of the organizers of the event, I would like to extend my sincere and deep gratitude to all Excellencies, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, who are representative of relevant ministries, development partners, banks, microfinance institution, insurance company, association, fintech companies, startup, and the public who had participated physically here and through the live streams on Facebook and Telegram, for taking the valuable time to attend and participate in this 3-day event. We would also like to sincerely wish all Excellencies, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, the best of wishes and to succeed in all aspects of life as well as in all future endeavors to come. This is the end of the FinTech stage of CTX 2022. Thank you.